Tag TV and Tag Radio be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Big data. It's all about the explosion of information, overwhelming information, so much information that it's driving even bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger data storage centers, clouds, mobile devices, e-commerce, analytics, social media, social business, and applications, unlimited applications. All this is great for big business, big data centers. But what about the real backbone of the digital economy? No, not the 2.0s or 3.0s evolving over the web or the spectrum of custom applications that take hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to program. We're talking about SMEs. Remember, it was heart and soul businesses that built America and made America the leading economy in the world. The small to medium-sized enterprises that will keep our economy great today and tomorrow, no matter what the future brings. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, July 17, 2012, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. Up to the Tech Talk? Big. Is it really better? And does size matter when it comes to the effective storage of your data? Localization of data storage specifically designed and implemented for small to medium-sized companies that is competing with the big guys for speed, security, 24/7 redundant protection, and with people who know and understand the SMEs because they come from the same DNA. IT-centric, regional, and support service ready and willing right in the neighborhood. Finally, someone understands how America really works. The Tech Talk takes a turn from big data to gain the keen insights and competitive strategy of the regional data center concept that provides premium turnkey solutions to server storage and network needs. Private clouds to disaster recovery, co-location to precise customer service. Enter Brooks Snow and the Fogo solution to data center services, allowing SMEs to leverage mission-critical grade infrastructure and specialized expertise in working with small to medium-sized client needs. Brooks, now CEO, co-founded Fogo Data Centers with partner Clay Wood in 2006, first forming Fogo Networks, IT solution company specializing in a single focus, small to medium-sized businesses. The company rapidly grew to expand 20 to 40% year after year after year with clients in states throughout the U.S. After years of research evaluating world-class data center technology across the country, in 2008, Fogo Networks merged to create Fogo Data Centers, the small to medium-sized secret that is changing the entire data center industry one region at a time as the Tech Talk goes big on small as we meet Brooks Snow, CEO, Fogo Data Centers. Brooks, welcome to Tech Talk.
Hey, thanks. I'm glad to be on the program.
Well, I think that probably one of the hottest topics, one of the hottest vertical markets within the technology industry today is certainly about big data and data centers and the whole idea of distribution and analytics and all of the ramifications that go along with it. Give us a little insight into how you feel about that marketplace as it exists right now and maybe where you see it going over the next couple of years.
Well, that it is a fascinating and exciting time to be a part of this industry, and to be in this data center space and be a part of this big data cloud migration is just it's fun, and we're excited to be to work with clients who are doing just tremendous things with technology, shifting data from traditional in the closet at their office, servers they own to our data center, Fogo Data Centers, and putting their compute power and all their access into the cloud, So it's exciting, and we wouldn't be doing anything else. This is what we love to do. I think you asked me two parts of that question. I think that was the first part.
Yeah. Well, and the second part is, the marketplace as it exists today. Obviously, it's like anything else. The market hates a void, so the minute that the opportunity exists, it seems like there's an explosion. So one of the points is, how's the competitive environment, and where do you see it going over the next couple of years?
Well, you talk about supply and demand. There is a massive supply and demand. There's an imbalance, right? Organizations are moving to the cloud, to the data center. We're collecting, this just as an end user with your phone, and the data that we're collecting and the data that you're storing on the cloud from consumer products such as iTunes, and we're shifting everything to the cloud somewhere out there in the world, right, on the interwebs, and that data actually resides in a data center. So it's there's this massive rush to the cloud, to the data center, and that creates this imbalance. And that we talk about the cloud and big data, but it has to reside in the physical world that we all live in, right? So that's what a data center is. It's a big warehouse full of servers and networking gear where you just seamlessly throw your data, you get to your Gmail, you get to your files wherever you are, but it resides in a facility. And because there's this barrier to entry, the facilities take some time to build. There's a lot of redundancy. With a data center, you talk about redundant power, redundant networks, and it's always up 24/7. That takes time to build. So you have this lag in building the physical facilities and bringing on the physical servers and network to support this demand. Has created just this, exciting growth and an imbalance that's favorable to operators such as Fogo.
Well, and I think obviously from a competitive standpoint, the fact that you come from a traditional IT networking company, Fogo Networks, I'm sure that sort of brings a lot of sensitivity to the marketplace that maybe some of your competitors don't have. Talk a little bit about the evolution of that, and maybe get into some specifics about your products and services.
Sure. So recap, we're going to talk about evolution in products. Did I hear you ask that correctly?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we started from a competitive standpoint. We first were talking a little bit about the marketplace, and as you point out, huge supply, huge demand in that environment. Now maybe what we're talking about is unique selling points. What is it? As I know, Fogo, I know you guys from a traditional IT networking company, the Fogo Networks. That's a little bit of a differentiator that I think maybe not all, but certainly some of your competitors don't enjoy. And so what I'm thinking is maybe tell us a little bit about the evolution of how that came about. How did you get into the data center and some of your lineage, but also then maybe get into some of the products and services that you offer.
Yeah, no problem. So you're right. We are. This may sound a little funny at first, but we call ourselves a IT-centric data center, and I'm going to explain a little bit what I mean by that. And there's our competitors out there. There's a lot of data centers that got into this space because of the supply-demand curve imbalance, and they really just sell you the the cooling, the space, the power, and say, okay, now you do your own thing, right? What we do, and where we came from, our background as a traditional IT company, is we have been solving IT problems and creating solutions for small and mid-sized corporations or organizations for, I'm guessing I've been doing this 8 years now. As Fogo Networks, we were doing about 6 years. So what we decided we'd do is, as we were servicing all these clients, right, we went out traditional IT, we went out and installed servers on premise at a law firm or a doctor's office, and they'd call in and we'd support, we know the routine there. Servers are down, computers down, we'd come out there and fix it. And we thought, now how can we change that a little bit? How can we control the environment, and how can we minimize that downtime? And we looked at the environment of our clients, and most of it was due, storm 2 weeks ago came through and took out just down the road from us, took out a client who was in the process of migrating to us, and they said, hey, we're really glad we're doing this because our power is down for 3 hours. So we looked at that. Okay, power is an issue for law firms and businesses across the world, and some of the constraints on the internet, just problems you have doing stuff in house. And we said, let's see what we can take out of the office and put it into a data center, and have our clients or the customers connect to this data center that has 24/7 operators, people there. There's redundant power cooling, all that stuff I mentioned earlier. Let's see what we can shift. So we took our current clients as Fogo Networks and traditional IT, and we said, okay, let's move the web servers, the mail servers. And we started getting into this, and we realized we can move, upwards of 80 to 90% of the infrastructure, and really secure and turn this from a reactive type industry where we're going to and from fixing, as they call us, to a proactive. We put it in an environment where it's secure and safe, and we monitor it, and we learn before things that are going on, and we can say, hey, guess what? You're running close to running out of memory, or your server's acting up. What's going on there? And they, usually now the clients interact and go, oh yeah, we rebooted it, we're doing some testing, thanks for letting us know. Or we catch things that they're not aware of. So we've taken this reaction and become very proactive, and that's possible because we don't have to worry about power, we don't have to worry about the internet going down, we can focus on the real problem. So we started doing that with our clients. We'd lease space from an existing data center, and during that process or that time, we realized there was a massive need for a professional data center that's cost effective, doesn't break the bank for the small to mid-sized clients, and that's what we were looking for. So we thought, let's see what we can do here. We took a year and did a lot of research. We found some partners who were going to invest in us, and we built our first data center facility just outside of Atlanta, and are now completing our second data center in New Orleans, and are working towards our third data center out in Salt Lake City, Utah. So
wow, that's really exciting.
It is exciting, yeah. So I think that answered kind of the evolution from
Fogo Networks. Even more
so. You're getting at?
Yeah, well, even more so. I think it's a case where it's what's funny is that I guess you could use the cliche "everything old is new again," but here's a case where the data center industry is rushing to provide. It'd be an understatement to call it an application, but certainly a resource. But really what you're talking about now is coming at it from the standpoint of this IT-centric competitive differentiator that gives you an insight to the client's problems beyond just being able to do storage. So I can imagine that from a selling proposition, that's got to be a strong competitive advantage when somebody compares the two.
It is, and we can relate because a lot of our clients are either third-party IT companies like Fogo Networks was. We no longer do that just so we're not competing with our clients or potential clients. But we've been in their shoes. We know what it's like to support 5 different, 10, 20, 30 different organizations as an independent consultant/IT firm. And then we understand if you're just an enterprise that has their own in-house IT group, we understand that you're overworked, underpaid, and you've got to get a lot done. So what that strength that we have, and I guess the advantage we have over our competitors is we've been in their shoes, we understand it. I can immediately talk to someone calling in who's an IT director, and I can say, look, I understand what's going on. We're not trying to replace you at all. Because last time I checked, servers and computers just don't fix themselves yet, right? So it's not that we're taking over any jobs, it's just we're shifting the compute power from the on-site facility to off-site. Someone still needs to manage and maintain that network, and that's why we partner with third parties or we work with in-house IT. We're not taking their job away. We're helping them understand how to. Here gets into some of the products, how to virtualize and utilize a dedicated private cloud, or we help them come up with a disaster recovery solution that fits their organization. And we just do the things that these large cloud providers can't do. They're not nimble enough. They don't help provide these solutions that you need if they're not if they don't fit the box that they have. They don't bend where we do. We tailor the solution for the client. So.
What obviously, from a larger perspective, you've got to be focusing on certain industry sectors, and obviously with that, certain markets that you mentioned, geographic markets that you mentioned. Are you identifying new market expansion by identifying already in advance those sectors that you feel you're the strongest in, or is it a case where it's just growth in terms of the marketplace? Describe a little bit about why you chose the second location and now looking at a third. Was that determined by industry sector?
It was determined by looking at the industry as a whole, right? We identified the supply, the demand imbalance, but because we were IT centered, we came from understanding what the client needs. We recognize that having my data in two locations, or working with a single partner, in this case Fogo, who can help me come up with a comprehensive plan. We knew that no one was out there that we found when we were looking that provided that. So it was just doing some research and finding out that, hey, this is what we wanted. We know, talking to other IT companies, that's what they need. So it came up with this. We came up with this concept called community cloud centers, right? Mm-hmm. Where instead of building a colossal, big, beautiful data center, which there's some fantastic ones in Atlanta, that are 100, 200, 300,000 square feet. That's not what we do. We're building, 10,000, sub 10,000 square foot facilities, and we want to spatter them across the country, right? So that it's more affordable, it's easier to maintain, understand, and manage, but it still allows a client to take advantage of a bigger network, a bigger community, if you will. So we've kind of come up with this phrase we like, a community cloud center, where we help our clients migrate to the cloud. We don't, do specific web hosting or web design, but we'll bring in our partners for them, and it's kind of a one-stop shop where they can, get all they need in the cloud in the data center. We have good partnerships, and we have good relationship with vendors, and it's all about creating this solution. So that's kind of, I guess we're looking at, that's how what we identified was missing, and then said, hey, we can do this.
Well, you clearly have a strategy and a positioning, the market positioning. I'm hearing things like regional model, high touch.
Yes. Right.
Talk a little bit about. You've touched upon a lot of them already, but maybe in a more concise bullet way, something that our listeners can really grasp the uniqueness of all of the benefits that you are presenting. What's different about a Fogo center versus other cloud providers? And I guess really you kind of touched on it with tailored solutions. But go ahead.
But there's something. Well, what I wanted to, I guess, to kind of answer your question, I think you're actually leading me down a good path. So thanks. But it's really bringing that professional, world-class data center environment down to a smaller scale, mm-hmm. right? That you can feel, you can touch, you can come see. I really think in the Southeast, this may be a very bold statement, but we've had enough people come through and tour this data center in Metro Atlanta. We've built a world-class facility that just blows people away. I had a guy the other day come in and said, I've only seen one in Sweden that's as good as this. And that's because when we were doing our research, we toured 25 data centers around the country, from stuff in the education, not-for-profit, for-profit, and big facilities. And we took all the good and tried to bring it back down to a small, biteable piece so that Joe's IT shop down the street can take advantage of a cloud. We tell them, you can do this, right? This is not just for Fortune 500, Fortune 1000. This is for everybody. Everyone can take advantage of it. You just don't know it yet. So I think that's one thing that sets us apart. We actually work with the client to create a solution, tailor a solution for them, and it's pretty unique. I mean, I don't even know how to express it in a few sentences or so, but hopefully that.
No, I think clearly anyone who's and again, we've been so inundated, with it just seems like just a few years ago, when anyone was talking about clouds, it had to do with something completely different than what we talk about today. And I'm constantly bringing up that the vernacular doesn't keep up with the technology in terms of speed to describe it, channels, networks, and all of the things. And I think that really what you're talking about is there is a point where the market will eventually be penetrated, and when it's totally, completely done, everyone's going to be part of it. It is going to be ubiquitous, and those small to medium-sized operators, why have to wait? Why wait until in a sense, food chain ultimately gets to them, when in reality they're a huge market within themselves and leapfrog right to them, who probably have more confusion, have more problems, more challenges, but inherent in that also have more opportunity to compete, especially in the economy of today.
And you just nailed exactly what we saw, right? If I were to wait, right, most of the data centers are built in the metro cities, the large metro cities in the country. Well, that's only a portion of the population.
Yeah.
If I go to small town USA, Nebraska, somewhere in Nebraska, Georgia, pick your state, guess what? I have a hospital there.
Yeah.
That needs data center services. A community, in a community of 50,000, there are organizations that need that type of service.
It's a killer idea. And it's a disruptor. It really is. I think you got, while it sounds, how many times have you ever heard it when it says it's the simple concepts or the simple ideas that are really the ones that hit it right in the bullseye. Why, when also I think when you talk about data centers, there's a tendency to talk about redundancy from a good standpoint, but I also think there's a lot of redundancy from the standpoint that they're all crowded. It's getting like coffee shops on the corners, kind of a thing. Yeah. And here's a case where you really are offering a unique selling proposition that's good for you, but you know what else, Brooks? It's really good for the customers. I mean, it really is from a materialistic, I get it. I'm excited for you, but from an altruistic standpoint, what you're saying is these guys have a right to compete in the new economy as well as anyone else. Why not, enhance and enable them to be able to do it now rather than later?
They do. You're exactly. I couldn't say it better myself.
Really?
And that is what, when we were looking for space as a customer, these are the challenges that we face trying to get in. I mean, I'd been in IT for I don't know how long I've been doing it now. It must be 18 years or so, from programming to systems administration to you name it. And here I am. I should be pretty good in my industry and know what I need to know about data center. When we went in the first time to data center, I didn't understand power and how it affected my equipment. From an IT perspective, I plugged it in the wall. I need it up and running. That's what I worried about. So we're here to help IT, whether you're a third party or an in-house or end user customers, navigate and figure out quickly how you can leverage a data center and create a true disaster recovery plan. Because it goes back to the IT workers of America they're just underpaid, underutilized, and they need help. We did. So we just were bullheaded enough to go try to figure it out on our own. And along the way, we found, hey, there's a big need here to help people take advantage of this. What's interesting as well, to go back to kind of the industry and the sectors you talked about, what a lot of our clients, the majority of them are brick and mortar clients, organizations who are shifting to the cloud. If you look at web developers, they're game programmers, they've been in the cloud for years, right? Everyone else is trying to catch up with those folks who are web-centric folks, right? There's so many organizations, brick and mortar, that don't know how to take advantage of a cloud or a data center, and that's what we're helping them do. So if you're looking for a GoDaddy website, that's not what we do. We'll refer you to some of the other big web providers. We help you leverage a data center for your company, your organization. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to end it there. As any of our really good interviews, and I think a lot of our listeners will agree with this, that more times than not, the good ones seem shorter even though they run long, and unfortunately we're out of time. But no, truly, Brooks, you've done a great job, and I think really you're on a very, very successful path. I am, talking out of my pay grade. You're doing it, but the other side of it is, thank you so much for taking time out of what sounds a pretty exciting and adventurous path, but on your busy schedule, to take time to join us today on Tech Talk.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad we could be on the program, and we're excited as well. So again, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.